It's E3 week. I'm Josh, and this is ToCing Points. So as you can see, I'm not Aaron. Aaron's actually in California right now, but he's not at E3. He's just out there, just, regular family vacation style, whatever. It just so happens to be the same time as E3. But because of that, I'm covering ToCing Points. I'll also be covering ToCing Points next week because he won't be back. He's there for basically 2 weeks. But anyway, on from there. Like I just said, it's E3 week. But what is E3? E3 stands for the Electronic Entertainment Expo. It's basically where we get a whole year's supply of game announcements, demos, trailers, new hardware, everything, for a whole year. Or, that's the idea. Sometimes stuff that gets announced at E3 doesn't come out for years or ever. So, EA just wrapped up their press conference and the Battlefield 1, I think it was 64 player stream right after. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Titanfall 2 looks amazing. They're adding a single player offline campaign, which sounds pretty cool based on the trailer. I might actually get Titanfall 2 because of that. Over the years, I've kind of fallen off the online multiplayer, except for a few games. But Titanfall 2 looks pretty good, so I'm pretty interested in that. And of course, it's EA, so they have to show off the next 2 installments of their sports games, football and soccer, or football for everybody not in the US. Sports games not really my thing. I'm sure they look good for what they are. The FIFA 17 seems like it's adding kind of like a campaign build-up. Just based off of a trailer, it looks like you start out in like high school or college and build up to pro level. So, that looks like it'd be a pretty cool change to, the normal, just pick your team and play a game, whatever. And then, of course, they ended it with some Battlefield 1 stuff, including a 1-hour stream of actual gameplay. They had a whole bunch of celebrities playing. The whole celebrity thing seemed kind of cheesy. I mean, I don't really want to see, no offense, but I don't really want to see Snoop Dogg playing a game. I'd like to see like a professional gamer playing it to actually show it off. But all in all, Battlefield 1 looks pretty cool. Actually, after seeing it, I'm pretty stoked on it, and I'll probably be getting it. So, let's see, by the time this airs, but the Bethesda conference will have already happened, but at the time of filming, it hasn't happened yet, so I don't have anything to say about it yet. But still to come, besides Bethesda, is Microsoft, Sony, Ubisoft, the PC gaming conference, and Nintendo's thing, which is getting weirder since we talked about it last week, but that'll come in a few minutes. So of course, throughout the week, I will be doing my best to cover all of the latest information, new games, new trailers, new hardware, whatever comes out of E3. I'll be doing my best to cover it. Because like I said, Aaron's not here, so it's basically just me. However, on that note, I would like to announce that recently I have joined Word of the Nerd as a staff writer for gaming news and game reviews. So the link for that will be in the description. So make sure you keep checking that out, because I will be posting exclusive stories and exclusive game reviews over there. Of course, there will be exclusive stuff still here on the channel, but to get the full spectrum of everything, you're going to have to keep checking here, and you're going to have to keep checking there. Since we spoke last week about our speculations, we've had some changes. And I figure since this is happening before all the other big conferences, we might as well run through all of my updated speculations, just real quick. It's not going to be as in-depth as last week, for sure. So starting with the first conference that's coming up, Microsoft. I covered in a news quick a couple of days ago that the Halo Wars 2 beta is probably happening, starting up today through the 20th. So, I'm revising my speculations from last week to say, again, mirroring the news quick, that's probably going to be Microsoft's big mic drop moment is Halo Wars 2 beta available right now, the end. Still with Ubisoft, I still think that even though they said that we're not getting Assassin's Creed this year, I think we're going to get a teaser for, next year's Assassin's Creed. I think that'll be their big moment. Last week we didn't say anything about PC gaming because it's kind of hard to say what would be there, since PC stuff usually just kind of gets announced on its own, just as it happens, because, we might get a new graphics card tomorrow, and, in 2 months, just out of nowhere, we're going to get another new graphics card that's even better. That's just how it works. But with the Halo Wars 2 beta, it got me thinking that during the PC conference, I think Halo Wars 2 will show there will be a second trailer, or, it'll just show the same trailer again, but they're going to announce that it will be PC compatible, and, obviously the route that they would need to take from there is that it's also cross-platform compatible, so you'll be able to play online with Xbox One. Sony. Okay, so Aaron covered in the news quick that we know that the PS4 Neo not going to be at E3. So once we found that out, I got to thinking, if they're not going to be showing off hardware, that means that they think that everything they've got lined up must be good enough that they can get away with not showing it off. So they've got to have a ton of good stuff, like, just off the top of my head, I feel like we're going to definitely be seeing Final Fantasy VII Remake stuff, probably actual gameplay. I think Aaron said that he wants to see God of War 4. That would probably be a big thing, bigger than the PS4 Neo. And I think we both agreed that we're probably going to see something about the Crash Bandicoot reboot. So just those three alone, if they showed those three, they probably feel like, we don't need to show off the PS4 Neo because that's enough. Which, I'm not a PlayStation guy, but if they were to show off all three of those instead of new hardware, I would be okay with that. Like I said, I'm not a PlayStation guy, so if you're a PlayStation gamer, will that be enough for you? I guess that's the big question. And Nintendo, Nintendo. Okay, way back in April, they said, don't expect anything except Zelda Wii U gameplay. That's all we're bringing. And since then, they've added Pokemon Sun and Moon and a Pokemon Go. I don't think it's actual. Pokemon Sun and Moon will be gameplay, but I think Pokemon Go is just going to be like a Q&A session with probably some still shots, but no actual gameplay shown. So they've kind of gone back on what they've said, which makes me think that we need to expect the unexpected. They've already flat out said that they're not going to be announcing the NX at E3. But they said that they were also only going to have Zelda Wii U. So, like I said last week, I think somewhere in that Zelda Wii U, there's going to be a hard cut or a smooth transition to Zelda NX. And we're probably not going to have any actual indication of when it happens other than like a graphical increase or I think I've heard stuff that Zelda Wii U Link is right-handed again. I actually meant to rewatch the trailer from, when they announced it, but I didn't get around to it before doing this. But I remember hearing that he's right-handed, and I'm wondering if on the NX they will do like the GameCube to Wii version of Twilight Princess and just mirror it. So in the GameCube version of Twilight Princess, Link was left-handed, like he always is. But because the majority of people are right-handed when they ported it to the Wii U, they mirrored it so that Link would be right-handed. In Zelda Wii U, he's supposed to be right-handed. I'm wondering if we're not going to get that same mirrored switch, and in Zelda NX, he'll go back to being left-handed. Same game, just everything's backwards. So I'm going to be watching for that very closely, because I feel like that's something that Nintendo would just slip in there and be like, yep, we showed it off, but you didn't know it. Also, as always, with Nintendo, Directs or Treehouses or whatever, there's going to be an opening statement, and, Reggie's going to be giving that, and I think it was last year's E3, or maybe the year before that, they did the thing where Reggie was getting harassed by an audience member about Mother 3, when is it coming? And this year, I think it was the 10th or the 15th anniversary of Mother 3's Japanese release. So I think they were building up to this year, and Reggie's going to slip in there, and hey, Mother 3 is available, or, it's coming this year, you can leave me alone now. Something similar to that. Or there's going to be mini commercial breaks during the Zelda and Pokemon gameplay. Or at least that's what I feel like they do, We're taking a break, loading up the next version of the demo, whatever. Oh, here's this gameplay announcement, or here's this trailer, or here's this box art, or new DLC coming. Also, we haven't heard anything about the amiibos for Bayonetta, or Cloud, or that third one that I can't remember. They're supposed to be the last of the Super Smash Bros. Series. They've got to say something about those. I just added that in there literally on the spot right now. That's not in my notes, but it just occurred to me that they haven't said anything about release dates for those, so where are they? Anyway, that's pretty much all I expect to see from Nintendo. But probably the biggest thing that I want to see from them, even though I have not played any of the Mother or Earthbound series, is just do an official release of Mother 3. Everybody wants it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't play it, but I would probably check it out. Regardless, no matter what happens at E3, it looks like it's gonna be a great week. Tons of new games. All in all, it's gonna be good. From there, let's move on to the only fancer this week. And it comes from Sam Sarah or Sam Sarah, one of those, I think. And he said that his biggest expectations for E3 are a Dead Space 4 announcement, which would be cool. I haven't actually started playing any of the Dead Space games yet. I have them. They're on my backlog. They look really cool. I've heard a lot of good things about them. And from what I've heard, it's a really good series, and I would hate to see it die, if it can continue on. So a Dead Space 4 announcement would be cool, just based on what I've heard. He also says he would like to hear a release date for the Resident Evil 2 HD remake. While that would be fucking great, and even better, show off a trailer or some gameplay footage, unfortunately I don't think it'll happen. We know that Resident Evil 7's been in development longer than the RE2 remake, and I feel like they will probably go the route of showing off Resident Evil 7 before Resident Evil 2, just because of that, and I don't think that they would show off both in the same show. It's not to say that they won't show it off in one of the other big events coming later this year. I think Gamescom is in August. It's possible they could, allude to it there, but I don't think that we're going to get Resident Evil 2 this year. Probably next year, though. So yeah, like I said, that was our only fancer for this week. So this week's question will be, what was your favorite E3 moment? And at this point, I know that, depending on who's hosting, either me or Aaron, we usually give our answers right now, but E3's not over yet, so I can't give an accurate answer. But like I said earlier, I will be covering talking points again next week, so I will open up that episode with my answer. Speaking of answers, in recent weeks we've been having some trouble with Facebook. Some of the fanswers have gotten lost, just because even though it gives us notifications that people have commented, sometimes the comments don't show up underneath the post itself. It's in a completely different area. We're now encouraging that you only answer in the actual video comments below. Like I said, this is for a number of reasons, one of which, what I just said, Facebook loses answers, but it also affects us directly on YouTube. For those that don't know, the way YouTube search engine works is basically the more likes and the more comments you have, the more likely you are to show up. That factors in, of course, with the relevance of the video. So the best way that you can help us out and get your fansers back on the show is leave them in the comments. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up button, because both of those greatly help us out. Not only does it allow us to share your fansers on the show every week, but it also helps new people discover us by becoming, more relevant in the search engine. So from now on, we will only be pulling fansers from the YouTube comments. With that said, I think it's about time to wrap up. Thanks for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and go grab some merch from the merch shop. Links are in the description for, various things. And, I've been Josh. I'm going to go watch some more E3 stuff now and keep talking.
You want to know a secret?
What's that?
You can click this column over here. Yeah, that one right there. And watch a video. Or
you can click that
you can
column.
click my dick to subscribe. Thanks for watching.